Hello once again, everyone. This is Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy with the Nautilus Dry Docks. And hey, this is another weekly update video. We got submarines back here, and we're building them out. This week, it was a holiday week, all right? It was New Year's, we had some time off. Decided to spend a lot of it with family, so cut me a little slack on the velocities of the build. There's still some pretty cool stuff I want to show you, though, and we better get started. All right, let's get this week started here, shall we? If you watched my video last week, you'll have seen we had Red October in the top secret test facility, performed flawlessly. Beautiful. But now what we got to do is get it ready for delivery to the customer. And there's just a couple of things we need to do before that happens. Made a custom stand for it. We're painting it up, gonna make it look good. Black with red writing, I'm thinking. Red October. He'll have a stand to display this thing if he wants to show it off, when it's not running. Other thing we got to do, I am going to buck off this intake here and replace it with an aluminum one so that it looks, a little more scale and not oversprayed. And what that'll also do is remove the height footprint, because we want to put this in a custom carry case so that it can easily be transported, around to the pond and pool and stored and whatever needs to happen. We're going to kick things off with modifying the Periscope. So I want to cut a couple of these aluminum tubes to length. Now, normally you guys would be like, oh, we'll zap it off with the old Dremel, or the saw. But what you can also use is a knife. And what I want to do, this is just going to be a stop. So what you do is you just kind of mark it like this. And you just go back and forth, and you roll it out. And I can't do this with one hand. But there, see, look, it just cut. Let's do the same thing with the Periscope. You just roll it back and forth, and dunk, just like that, minus the dropping on the floor thing. And what it does is there's no burrs, there's no, it's nice and clean. That's a tip. It's a little tip for you. And when you're done, it looks something like this. Bloop. Off it comes. On it goes. That easy. I put a little piece of heat shrink on the top just to make it look, like a mast or a periscope or, whatever. So let's put that in a safe spot. Now, let's figure out where we're going to put everything in here. Grab the boat. Let go. Get off the stand. Yes. Okay, cool. Is this picky plucky? Oh, it is picky plucky. How many layers of picky plucky? 2. All right. Maybe more. So now we just got to mark out the perimeter. And you saw me do this for the LA a little while ago. This may be easier because we're going in vertically. So and Typhoon's basically a rectangle. So we just got to make a square opening and put it in. So let me go ahead and do that. We're going to have lots of room to drop radios and all that kind of stuff in here as well. So yeah, this is going to work really good. So I'm painting. Times are tough when Bob needs to do his own painting because Logan's not awake yet. And it's also holiday weekend. We're going to do Top Golf today. I've not been golfing in about 10 years. So this is going to be awesome. But we just thought it'd be kind of fun because they got a bunch of games and food and drinks there and, little family get together. It's going to be fun. What am I working on right now? This is the stand for the Red October, and just painting the words. Red November. Nope, October. It's going to look really good. I want to show you what the box looks like here in a second. Just chill out. I'm going to get some paint on here first. So I've got the stand all painted, and the box is all done. Hey-ya! Hey-ya! Let's take a look. Everything's in here. We got stand, battery, key fob, boat, radio, periscope, and a little custom container for all the little lifeboats. over here. So I'm just going to make little foam inserts for in here out of the leftover foam, and keep the little dudes nice and cushy. That's it, people. That's all. Red October is done. All I've got to do now is make the overview video, and we'll be good to go.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
So we're taping. We're taping a big box. A big box. That's the 80-inch Seaview. Going to Canada.
Hey everyone, it's Logan. Want to give a quick update on the Seaview bridge painting since I have finally gotten around to it. Using some really nice high quality pictures that we've gotten, I've gotten some base coloring and base coating. Need to go back over some small areas. But we've got the nice, I think the exact, here it is. Here's the paint I used. Duck egg green walls ready. Some good news, anywhere you see these little streaks or anywhere I didn't paint as thoroughly, that area is getting covered. The only exception to that is this piece, which I'm going to be hitting again tomorrow, and that should fix it. But besides that, everything went on wonderful for paint. I've got all the consoles hit with a nice metallic, so they actually look like they're made of steel. Got the top, but not the sides done for the center platform. Over here, I hit everything with this super ultra bright, like, metallic chrome. This stuff coats so nicely. But just wanted to show off what I got done for day one. This shouldn't take super long. The very first bridge that I did, I just took my time with it. I was enjoying every step of it, and I hand painted the entire thing, which is not smart. A lot of brush strokes where things didn't need to have brush strokes. Basically took the whole base plate and I hand painted that, which is, even for someone who enjoys painting, not the most exciting thing. When the original one that I painted was like this, all in one gigantic piece. So painting the floor, trying to get through like these cracks is not fun. Grand point, I'm being smart about this one. It's coming in pieces, so I have a lot more access to each individual part, and I'll be able to put a lot more detail into it. So, look forward to it.
Well, Happy New Year to everyone. It's Thursday, New Year's Day. And in typical fashion, didn't get a lot done just because of the holidays. Logan got some stuff done. I got a little bit done. Let's take a look. So Logan's starting to work on the control. This looks like a mess. I would have things laid out a little cleaner, but this is his modus operandi. But we're working on the Seaview control room. We're basing out everything. This color is perfect. We're using a lot of references right from the screen grabs from the series and the movie and stuff. So the colors are going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be just about right. Got some potting done for our alpha, for our Kraken control system. There's some trickiness going on here. This is going to be very procedural, I can tell you. The real tricky ones is the pitch controller, because we need to have access to that button, and the receiver, obviously, because there's about a gajillion wires coming out there. The rest of them are pretty straightforward, though. The proof is going to be when we get this thing out and make sure nothing flowed in and fused stuff that it didn't need to. And what I'm using for this is electronics potting gel I got off Amazon from Innovayo. Hopefully it works. I don't know. Just got a little sample pack just to see if it was gonna work. So far I like it. It's actually a nice and liquidy consistency, so it'll flow into all the cracks and everything. Reason I didn't go with epoxy, well, number one, this flows a lot better. Number two, it has better heat conductivity. Number three, it's got a little give to it, a little flexibility, so when those wires are moving, they don't work free and make a pathway for the water to get in. One more thing I want to share with you. If you keep checking my website out, there's always new products, and this is a new offering from Randy. This is Upholder. Upholder is a badass boat, I will tell you. Looks awesome, works awesome, and for the first time, we're talking anechoic tile details. This was printed in ASA, so high strength, all awesome from heat resistance and stuff like that, at 0.22 millimeter resolution. And those details, holy cow! Like look at those grills. This is just straight off the printer. I haven't done anything to it. Nothing. I think what I'm going to do for this, so this was proof of concept. I'm just going to glue this together, prime it up, make it look beautiful, and we'll offer it to somebody, whoever wants an upholder. I think our 70 mil cylinder can be perfect for this boat. So last of the parts are on the printer, the die planes and the rudders. And I mean, gosh, look, great access to installing all those things. This is a good boat. Look at how the shafts are offset. Do you see that? It's going to make it so much easier from an interference perspective. This is good. I built a whole bunch of like OTW upholders, the big guys. They work really well. They do. And the cool thing about it, the gigantic sail up on top there, it gives you some really neat sail-induced roll. So this thing kind of banks into turns, which is cool, provided you're not doing double flank warp speed, because then it'll just heel right over and dive to the bottom. I'm stoked. I've got Periscope files for Upholder. I should scale those down and offer them. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that. Good morning. It's Friday. I did not make it out to the pond yesterday. I did not. Other stuff came up. It's fine. We're working on Upholder. All those parts I showed you yesterday with the super awesome anechoic detail is they're just tacked together with some gel CA. Now, I've gone into this before. When you're joining hull sections like this, tack it with the CA, but fiberglass the seams. Just do it. Don't mess around. Just fiberglass it. Little layer of 4-ounce epoxy and cloth. I'm not going to do that with this one. I'm not building this boat. I'm just going to assemble it, prime it. And the other thing that we're going to do, which may be of interest, we're going to install the rear control surfaces in this bad boy and show you how it's done using the Nautilus Dry Docks yokes. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to take the stock parts off the printer, and we're going to decide what size shaft to put in it. And in this particular case, 1/8. We're going to put an 1/8 inch shaft in here. If I like drilling this by hand, because the drill bit will follow the hole in the part. If you put this in a drill press and your angle's off, you're done. Your angle's wrong. So we're just gonna let that drill bit do the walking. Again, this is ASA plastic. I kind of like it. This is my first time printing in pure ASA. I printed in the carbon fiber reinforced before. It sounds nice. I like it. I think what we're going to do, we're going to start with the forward die planes, because they're easier. They're a lot easier. There's two products that we're going to use. There's the yokes. The yokes, they're like U-shaped. And the horns, which are L-shaped, I guess. The horn is what we're going to be using in the front. We need to push this into this, but sometimes this is hard to do just with your fingers. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a little round on the shaft, so it's more pointy. And then what we're going to do, we're going to chuck this bad boy up in the drill, grab our die plane, and just zing it. And you see I came out the back. I went too far. Back up, back up, back up, back up. Nice and flush. Now we are friction. Actually, that is really friction fit. In these cases where the fitment is really, really tight, when you zing it in, it heats up the plastic, and then the plastic kind of fuses to the brass, which is kind of cool. Otherwise, what you'd want to do, either a little bit of glue or set screw. I'm not going to go into that today, though. there's a similar 1/8-inch hole in the hull. In the front here, where the diplanes go. But you can do this a couple of different ways. Plastic is actually a pretty good bushing. The ASA is pretty frictionless. The other thing you can do is use a brass tube as a bushing. And in that particular case, you drill a 5/32 hole, lop off a chunk of 5/32 brass tube, and push it in. Let's just do that. Brass tube, and you'll see I roughed up the outside of that a little bit because we want it to have something to bite to. And then what we're going to do, we're going to press that into the hull. And I'm gonna press it in until there's like a 32nd of an inch sticking out, because we want a little interference, sticking out there, so that the diplane doesn't rub against the boat. You do not want that to happen. So we can push this into, we're gonna tack it. Thin CA, lock that bushing into place. So here's something. When you drill those holes in, if you don't make them perfect, then when you pass this through, it might not line up perfectly. But we want it to line up perfectly, absolutely perfectly, otherwise we're going to get binding. So, what do you do if it doesn't line up perfectly? I'm going to put the shaft in here, and I'm going to heat this shaft up with my torch here. What's going to happen, that heat's going to transfer down the shaft into the bushing. The bushing is going to transfer the heat to the boat. The plastic's going to soften, just soften, don't boil it. And then you can wiggle it, put it through, let it cool, and it'll be absolutely perfect. Now that it's through, and it's swiveling nice, poking out the other side, I can push the other side in. Just slip it right over the shaft, like this, like this, like this, and push it in the hole. Get the spacing correct, and then do the same heat thing, because it's just gonna relax it. It's just gonna let it relax, so that there's no stress on things. So here's something a little interesting I just found out about this boat. The diplanes, they knock against the hull. So if we take this, and we got our 30-second spacing, like I was telling you. Hold on, get in. Bloop. So see, it's spaced out nicely, but if we try and go down, it hits the hull. Bonk, 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 bonk. So a couple different things you can do. You can, cut the diplane a little bit, so that as it goes in. So if we want that much deflection, for example, you can see that we would need to notch that corner by 1/16 of an inch. Something like that. I think that might be the best plan. The other thing you can do is put a spacer in, but then you'll end up looking like that. You'll have a gap, which is not bad. That's fine. But, a little tighter. A little tighter might be good. Let's pop this out. Do a little grindy grind and see if we can get our angle figured out. Fixed. Remember, 30 degrees, guys. That's all you need is about 30-degree deflection. So this is lots, and you really can't tell. You really can't tell. It's fine. It's fine. Now what we need to do is remove this and put our yoke. No, wait, horn on that shaft before we put the other side on. And when you're done, it looks like this. You can move that yoke back and forth. You can flip it over so that it comes out the bottom. You can do whatever you want, whatever you need to do. I don't know who's going to have this boat or what they're going to want to have it look like, but this will get them started. Easy part's done. Now we're going to move on to the stern. And what we need to do for the stern is drill out for bushings. 5/32 in all of these holes. Top, bottom, inside, like that. All of them. And the good news about this is because of, on the sides anyway, you can align the bit to go through the other hole so you get your alignment perfect. Okay, guys, do not do what I just said. Reason being, when the print layers are going this way, they're weak in this direction. And so when I was drilling through there, it just got too thin and it just crackified that a little bit, unfortunately. So just don't do it. Now what I need to do is make the bushing, glue the bushing in, let the bushing support that area, and glue it down. Oh, there we go. It's fixed. It's fixed. It's fixed. Just leave the 1/8 inch holes as they were before. Let the plastic be the bushing, unless you want to go with thinner shafts, like 1/16 shafts, you know, with 1/8 inch bushing, or 3/32 bushings. So that's up to you. I'm just going to use 1/8 inch though. We're going to glue this, and nobody is even going to know. All right, that's drilled out. Now, I test fit my die planes, make sure that there's no interference, right? You got to have room to move. And now we're going to zip this shaft through the die plane into the inside of the body, stopping, so there's about, you know, it doesn't, so that it won't interfere with the drive shaft in the middle. That's what we're after. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Get in, get in, get in, get in, get in, get in. You know, like yay. Because ideally, well, because you have to have room to install your yoke, you got to be able to slip it over. And when you do, it just slips on, you know, like this, or it would if I wouldn't have gone in so far. And oh no, I did it. There you go. Now do the same for the other side. Making sure that your set screws are facing you. Don't install the yoke with the set screws facing the back. That would be stupid. So, first side is done. You can see the functionality there. And that's what it looks like inside. So, we got the one side pressed in and locked down. Now we need to do the other side. Gonna fit the die plane. Make sure it fits. No, it needs to be shaved down a little bit. It's a little too tight. It's a little grindy. And then we're gonna zip this in using the drill, and we'll have the die planes done. All right, I want to show you a little trick. Now these work good. They work perfect. But if your tolerance between the planes and the stabilizers is too tight, you can just grab some sandpaper and you slip it in between the plane and the boat, and you just wiggle it back and forth, and you can eventually kind of sand down that interface, and it'll become much more loose. So again, this one was fine, but I'm just showing you. All right, I can't do this with one hand like this. There we go. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So here's our finished die planes. That's what it looks like inside. Now we got to get onto the rudders. After I trim that nibber nutsy sticking out there. Now the rudders, you could do the sleeve, and actually I would recommend it. 5/32 drill those out so that you can have that 30-second clearance to push the rudder out. Otherwise it'll rub. It'll just rub, and you don't want it rubbing. Friction is bad. By the by, when you cut these with a Dremel cut-off wheel or whatever, you're gonna end up with a like kerf that gets pushed into the inside bore, and usually you can push it out. But if you just want to make it like easy, just take your knife and just spin that tube around, and that'll get rid of that little excess. So now when you slip the 1/8 inch tube, it'll just straight in instead of jamming it and all that stuff. So I'm done with this, but you've missed a lot of action. One thing that you're absolutely going to want to do is test fit all the yokes before you start bolting them in, and especially these die planes, the rear die planes, because once you get these in, you're not going to get it back out again. So I would recommend, until you're done with the yokes, leave those shafts long on the die planes, so that if you need to, you can pull it out, get the yoke out. I needed to do some grinding on the yokes to get them to all fit. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you need to cut and grind and move until when both control surfaces are hard over there's no interference. And then pull them the other direction and make sure there's no interference. So you need to have full clearance. And you'll see sometimes you're good on one side, you're not good on the other. And also bear in mind, the yokes don't need to be installed perfectly perpendicular to the longitudinal axis of the boat. They can be cocked a little bit to give you more wiggle room. But at the end of the day, this is what you end up with. And now we're ready to glue this sucker on the rest of the boat. And just like that, it's together. Look at that thing. So cool. You know, that hull split is an actual demarcation, an actual hull split. You know, just like the real boat would have that demarcation. I can't say enough good things about this. Look at it. What a neat boat. I'm just going to throw some primer on it. I'm not going to do a lot of sandy sanding or anything like that. I'm just going to throw some primer on it so that we can see all those details that I've been going on about. Upholder is looking pretty dang good. Here's a coat of primer. Again, I've done nothing. There have been no sanding on this or anything. And I think you could. I think you could sand this down with some 200 grit. Although the striations, I mean, you only really see them, you know, in the smooth areas here. The rest of it just looks good. It just looks really good everywhere. And that's all I did. You know, the other things you could do, you could cut that open. That's exhaust right there for the diesels. I threw a prop on. I had a little 5-bladed prop. Look at that. This thing is going to be ready to go for somebody. The other thing I found, and maybe I'll do this tomorrow, the periscopes. I took my upholder files and I scaled them down. So I just got to clean these up and put them on the masts and periscopes and figure out a way to put them in there. And we'll have periscopes. That's pretty cool. This is going to be, I'll post this up. Somebody's got to grab this thing. It was proof of concept for me. Hard work's all done. All your dive planes and rudders and your drive shaft. Look at that. I also got something else that I got in from a good friend and customer. There's 2 boats in here. We'll take a look at it more tomorrow. But this is the OG Engel Typhoon. So this is not the master scale with the anechoic tiles. This is the OG version. Polyester layup is beautiful. And look, I don't know where this came from. This is a bayonet seal. What the heck? Or a bayonet union? I don't know. I gotta break into this tomorrow. Motors are all here, and this is Akula. Engel Akula. Again, the OG Engel Akula. Oh man. I'll have some better imagery for you tomorrow, but I'm excited. I forgot how big this thing was. That is a sizable boat. And just like that, it's Saturday morning. And you know what that means. Wrapping up in the shop. Let's take a look at what we've got going on, including those Engel boats that I just got in. So these are the 2 hulls that I got, along with a lot of the control systems. So let's just start with Typhoon here. I believe this is 1/100th scale, which tells you how big these boats are in real life. All polyester fiberglass layup. This is old school. Like, this is probably a 20-year-old kit, but it fits nice. I think the only thing I see, and I think this was just, you know, part of the actual mold. I don't think this is a time thing. Gap in the front. I believe when I put one of these together, it had the same gap. So that's just the way it is. Easily fixed. Beautiful boat. Got a ton of presence. You could do anything you want with this thing. You know, rig up the missiles to work, periscopes, you know, all of that stuff is very feasible. And here's all the gear that came with it. 2 plan sets, all the plastic parts for the fins, drive motors, periscope system, all the resin parts. These are beautiful. I have no idea why this is here. It's a beautiful machined aluminum bayonet, and I had a bunch of these were shipped with it too. I wonder if this probably goes with this. I got 4 of them. I just don't know why this came, but it did. Little chip in the propulsor shroud there, but I mean, all in all, for a 20-some-odd-year-old kit, Pretty dang nice. And then the other one I got here is the Akula. I believe same scale, 96, is it? I don't know. 72nd? I don't know. I'll have to check and see. I'll put it down here. But again, all old school. All the resin detail parts, brass prop, all the hardware, drive motors, periscope system, all came with it. Now, let's talk real talk. We're talking like old school technology here, people. And Angle really kind of clung to this idea of a dry hull for a long time before they went with more of a cylinder style system in some of their more modern boats. So what does that mean? I mean, I would say realistically, there's things that could be salvaged. Like, for example, this absolutely gorgeous handcrafted, soldered brass periscopes for Typhoon. All of the resin pieces, obviously, the props, the plans, all of that. The rest of it is just extra. Because, we're talking old school. Big solid state relays and that kind of thing. Like, this relay board is probably the size of a postage stamp today. So what would I do? I would put some dry hull boxes, those S3s, or a big cylinder, or whatever you want to do with it. But don't worry about the dry hull boat. You got to have a certain type of affinity for that kind of thing before you invest in building out a boat like that. So both of these, absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, that Akula, I'm tempted to keep it. I love the Russian boats. I mean, obviously, Alpha in 50, Alpha in 72, but that's a nice size. That, for me, is the ideal size. You got acres of room in there, but it's not so big you need a pickup truck to haul it around, right? So both of these, the Typhoon for sure I'm going to sell. I got to think, I'm never going to build a Akula out. I'll sell a Akula too. So anybody wants an Akula hull, I'll have that listed up as well. I'm going to take a bunch of pictures, get it listed up here. If you're watching this video and it's not up, it's coming soon. It'll get listed. And if you want to make sure you get your foot in the door before everybody else, pop me an email, bob@nautilusdrydocks.com, and you can steal it before everybody else even sees it. The other thing we got are a bunch of potted parts. These are all the prototype parts that are going to be going into Alpha. So this is my electronic speed controller. Technically, the speed controller was waterproof right out of the box, but I double potted it. Got water cooling in here if we want. This is the electronic relay. Hopefully it works. The only thing I'm concerned about is if that potting material got into the relay, but it looked pretty sealed. I don't know. We'll see. Worst case scenario, it was a cheap relay. Experiment. Air pump for the main ballast system. This is a 3 3/4 inch, 30 centimeter ballast tank that I 3D printed all the baffles and everything in. End caps. Telemetry module, voltage and current. The receiver, I tested this yesterday, is working perfectly. It's completely potted, completely waterproof. This is your receiver. Now, you don't get your shorts in a knot. I know water could creep up these wires. It's the connection that's going to make that solid. And we'll get into that when we get into that and do all of the things. But with this clear rubber button, it's still completely programmable. You can pair it and register it and do all of the things. And then we got our pitch controller here as well, which is tricky because there's a button, but I think I got it figured. This is the main componentry for the boat. Just look, you can just like stick that in the boat and stick that in the boat. You could stick them on top of each other, beside each other. This is not going in the boat, but this is a dual motor brushless ESC package, 12 amp capacitance. I'm excited. We got to do some testification to see if the on-off relay is going to work or not. Check the pump, make sure the pump works and everything. But it's going to be next week. I got to do the video. I have to do the video. I'm not going to get it done before I go for my workout. I'll have to do it afterwards. It'll be later today. So apologies. Maybe it's not breakfast with Bob. Maybe it's brunch with Bob later. where does that leave us for next week? These boats are going to get listed, cleared out of the shop. That thing is going to get listed, cleared out of the shop. Again, if you want to grab that, let me know right away. You know, it's a beautiful boat. It's an absolutely beautiful boat. We're going to start throwing componentry into the Alpha. Hopefully get this thing in the water. Logan is going to get working on the Seaview bridge. Now he's got a lot of parts primed out and painted and base coated and stuff. That's going to go quick. He assures me. If not, I just won't pay for him to fly home until he's done. So once we start making room, we'll get the actual Seaview in here, start working on the hull here. There, that should be a pretty quick build. I think that's gonna go pretty fast. So with that, that's all I got. That's all I've been doing this whole week. I didn't get a lot. It was another holiday week. Give me a break. Give me a break. Next week, back to normal schedule. Get some velocities going on some builds. Thanks for joining me. Drop your comments, send me an email, like and subscribe. Guys, seriously, helps out a lot here. The whole algorithmics and stuff. You have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you next time.